What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you learn how to reach people online, build an audience, build trust, build influence, and attract ideal clients, all those sorts of things. We've got a great guest. Shawn Richardson is here, and we are talking about expires. Can you actually still rock expires in 2021? That is the question that we will get an answer to today. So if you want to use old school prospecting, the stuff that Greg's done over the years with circle prospecting, if you want to do FSBOs, if you want to do expireds, we're going to talk about the differences between those three, why Shawn focuses on expireds and what he does with the rest of them. If he does anything, we'll talk about that, the difference. And we're going to get into some really fun stuff on how he's built a great, phenomenal lifestyle business where he gets to spend plenty of his off hours doing what he chooses with his time, how he structured his kind of small team to get a really good lifestyle business built on old school prospecting. So this is going to be a fun one. But before we get to that, I have to address the elephant in the room, which is that our Friday co-host is not here. This is not an East Coast, West Coast SmackDown. This is an all West Coast episode. Our guest is out of the Willamette Valley up in Oregon, so it's an all West Coast. The Junior Grandmaster is here, though, ensconced in the co-pilot seat where you so belong. Greg McDaniel, what's up today?
What up, home cheeser? Yeah, man. I've met Shawn several times. Great dude. I cannot wait to break it down. He is a solid human being, and I'm looking forward to it. But what I'm looking forward to is the absence of the evil bald ninja. No snarky comments, no shiny head. I mean, this is going to be it's a breath of fresh air. You know, as he would say to me, as he said to me earlier today, time is only making me fonder to you, away from you. And I'm like,
And he's not drinking alcohol, making us on the West Coast jealous because it's not 2:00 in the afternoon yet for us. So we have no excuse for already drinking. But anyway, all right.
I'm in real estate. I drink all the time. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that is true. All right, so let's bring in our special guest, Shawn Richardson. What's up today?
How's it going, guys? Super glad to be here. Greg, I've been following you for years. Used a lot of your scripts in my calls. Man, nice. Beers and calls are awesome. We have to get on and do some new ones sometime.
I am in, Matt. I want to let the record show, Your Honor. I want the record to show that people appreciate me, and Matt needs it. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, we will. Okay. His sentence is commenced. Yeah, you have 10 years of making Greg only positive comments. Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know. I mean, I might as well just off myself right now. I don't think I can ever deliver on that. All right. So Shawn, give us the back of the napkin, the 60-second bio. Who are you? Where are you? And what do you do?
Yeah. So my name's Shawn Richardson. I'm with eXp Realty here in Salem, Oregon. We service the majority of the Willamette Valley, from Southwest Portland all the way down to the Corvallis area. We built a great business over the past 8 years. We do about 40 to 50 transactions a year, give or take. That's kind of by design. We're a husband-wife team. I've got a TC. Other than that, it's just us. Katie rocks the behind-the-scenes action, and it's kind of my gatekeeper. And then I just focus on a whole lot of production. And it's 70-80% seller-based. We really don't work with a whole lot of buyers unless there are sellers moving to another property.
Gotcha. Speaking of Corvallis, thank you for exporting your terrible football coach to Nebraska. That was a great move on your guys' part. I appreciate that.
We do what we can.
Yeah. So let's talk about the so let's talk about the expired thing, because it's an interesting thing. Our friend Aaron Wittenstein up in Westchester, New York, basically had his ability to make cold calls to expireds taken away from him just through emergency measures. It's like the state just came down hard and said, we decided you can't make cold calls to expired listings anymore. Sorry. But you didn't sound like you had anything like that there. But I think there is we've been doing this show for now, Greg, it's over 5 years, something like that. Are we on our 5-year show anniversary, or is it 6?
I think we're pushing at 6, man.
6. Holy cow. We've been doing this show together for 6 years. It's insane. How have I not strangled you already? But that's beside the point.
Because I'm incredibly bigger than you.
Well, that's a fair point. You are like a man. You are a man bear. But I think over the course of time, like, we don't talk as much about expireds and cold calling as we used to. And I think maybe the agents that have come into the game over the past few years have, maybe rightly so, tend to revert to Facebook, Instagram. And there's nothing wrong with building an online presence, but I think there is a bit of a perception out there that, maybe cold calling doesn't work as much as it used to. So I'm really curious to dive in, Shawn. I mean, you've been in the game for a while. Have you noticed things shift or change? Is it just keep chugging right along and people are neglecting it? What's been your experience with expireds?
People have definitely been neglecting it, in my opinion. We're seeing fewer expires because homes are on, selling on average. fairly quickly just due to low inventory. But we still see, I still get 10 to 15 a month to work. And you can take about half of those.
Really?
Yeah.
10 to 15 a month. And you're in like an upper end price bracket. So those 10 to 15 a month, are you already kind of self-limiting your business to a certain price point before you even take that into account?
I really try to focus on 400K and above. Our average sales price is 375, was 350. We've noticed a huge increase in price just year over year, just due to lower inventory and higher demand. I think we're seeing that across the country. So we've had a bump, to 375 for an average sales price. But my bread and butter is 400 and above. 400 to a million is kind of where I tend to focus my efforts.
And out of 10 to 15 of those that you can make contact with, you're taking half of them.
Taking about half of those at some point. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. How long does it take on average to get somebody converted?
It depends. I've had, I had this one guy. It was crazy. He was in his car driving to the store. I cold called him out of nowhere. He's like, you know what? I want to sell. I'm, out and about anyways. Where's your office? I want to meet right now. We took that listing that day in an hour. I mean, it was crazy. They don't all happen that fast. In fact, that was the only one in 8 years I've ever had to do that. It takes if I can get it in the door right away, it'll take me 2 weeks to list it. And then it's up to the seller when it goes live from there. But we've had a lot of great return clients. Like we listed and expired last year. And so far this year, I've done 5 transactions with that single client.
Whoa, with the single client, what are they doing?
Well, they own several homes here in the Willamette Valley, a lot of investment properties. They owned like a group home type adult foster care system. So they had like 2 or 3 personal homes that we've sold. They had a commercial family business that we're selling here in a few weeks. And then just, offloading some investments, getting cash liquid and, kind of settling down and retiring. So that one call has made me just a ridiculous amount of business this year.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Greg, so let's turn to you. I don't know how many, like you've always been a little, please, you've always been a little, you preferred stuff like circle prospecting and kind of in that order. Circle prospecting, FSBOs, and expireds have always been kind of at the bottom of the list. And there really isn't a lot of expireds in your area. Yours is super tight. Yeah. So even if you wanted to go after expireds, there just isn't much in the East Bay anyway. But I am curious, it's been a long time since we talked about it. When you were younger and maybe there were more expireds or in different market, conditions, when you did have a lot of expireds, you still really didn't go after them heavily. Why was that?
Because I was a complete moron. And I didn't recognize the opportunity.
That was not what I was angling for, but it's a welcome change. Why? All right. So you're a moron because of what?
Well, because I was raised before a lot of people were in the business, and yes, they told us to go after, expires, go, chase your SOI, the whole shebang. I was raised because my father, Terry, he'd always done circle prospecting, hardcore door knocking, calling in the whole 9 yards. So I followed in his footsteps. And then when I started opening up my eyes and I started looking at for rent by owners, for sale by owners, expireds, foreclosures, divorces, death notices, tax defaults, all these other opportunities out there, because where there's a lot of pain, there you can bring a lot of power and value. And so people have to have an issue. If I call Bob and Stacy at 123 Main Street and they just bought it 2 years ago, probably not going to move out of that thing for 7 to 10 to 15 to 20 years based upon where they're going to be living in their life choices. But if you talk to an expired listing for rent by owner, for sale by owner, a death notice, a divorce notice, tax default notice, these people have got serious pain in their lives. And that's why Shawn is crushing it so hard, because you have to look at it as not as if you're going to be in a bloodsucker and just getting business from these people. Yeah. You're out there to solve a problem and bring value to them. They have an issue. You have the solution. Put it together, make it happen. So I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at it as if I was a predator and I didn't want to take advantage of people. Then I shifted my mindset, and like what Shawn's doing, he's just crushing it. Like he steps on eggshells. Just, it's his, like he just owns that shit. And I just hope that you, Matt, Shawn's like eggshells. Matt's like, you dumbass.
Oh my God. All right, Shawn, let's talk about, what gravitated you towards expireds in the first place. And then I want to talk about FSBOs and all the other ones that Greg mentioned, because you don't do a lot of that other stuff. So what was it that attracted you about expireds?
So I just I think it's the challenge. Like another agent couldn't sell it. I did. Haha. That was kind of my first kind of, my first like little. I'm competitive, so that was my first reason why. I actually started out in this industry as a buyer's agent on a team. Left that, joined another team. Shout out to Chris Suarez. Was his expansion partner
nice.
here in the Salem area for a while. Katie Benson, they have their Legion levers, and part of the one I chose was Fizzbos and Expireds. So I think the first year transitioning from a buyer's agent to agent who was primarily listing focused, we did 42 deals that year, all for Fizzbos and Expireds. And the market was a little different then. It wasn't quite as low inventory now as it is now. We had 2.5 months of inventory. And by targeting for sale by owners above 400 grand, they weren't selling at that point. So implement a follow-up strategy, call them, how can we help? And, hey, we want to be your plan B. If things don't work out, sure enough, they would sit and if the pain was long enough, or the pain was there long enough, they would list.
That's interesting. Go deeper on that, because I've never heard anybody say it quite like that. Like, we want to be your plan B. What's that scripting? How does that play out on a call?
So it's just, hey, I totally understand you guys want to sell for sale by owner. If I was selling my home, I would at least consider it, right? Save 3%, 15, 20, 30 grand, whatever it is at your price point. I don't blame you for trying that, but hey, if this doesn't sell, where are you guys going next? And can I be your plan B?
That's a good phrasing. I like it, Greg.
I have so many funny things to say on that, but I completely agree. I think it's an absolute perfect. I mean, there you go.
All right. It took me a while, but I got there.
There you go, Bubba Cakes.
All right.
But I mean, it is something that it is. You always be the backup. Hey, if you're, for whatever reason, you lose faith or lose trust, or you just feel like you want to go a different direction in regards to your agent, I'm always here. I'm lurking like a creeper in a trench coat in the bushes outside on a dark night outside of Matt's room. I'm always around to help you guys. Shawn?
I think Shawn either bailed or got kicked off, but that's hilarious. Oh my God. All right. So
that was the best timing ever.
That was hilarious. Okay. So Greg, you came up in circle prospecting, like that's what made sense to you. You still don't have a lot of expired listings, but it is interesting. Like, Shawn doesn't seem to be like there's no slowing down. And it's interesting that even in this tight of a market, he's having 10 to 15 properties legitimately that he can go after that are even in a higher end price point. So I think it's definitely something that if anybody is in the shoes that Shawn is in, take a look. Like, it's going to differ from your from area to area, but look at expireds, see how many there are. It might be a legitimate area that people are overlooking. Now, if you're in San Diego, people are calling expireds at 7:45 in the morning. Like that's just, we have the cold. There's so many agents here. We have that culture here. There's a lot of real estate coaches live here. So you're not beating people to the phones on expireds in San Diego. You just got to hang in there, and you got to play the follow-up game. Yeah. So I want to talk about that, Shawn, now that you're back. What is you mentioned like a 2-week follow-up program. Give us just the kind of broad strokes of what that looks like.
For Fizzbos or expireds?
Let's talk about expireds.
Okay. So we first step is we'll take the listing print off from the MLS, and we'll print that off. All right, I know why your home didn't sell, in red Sharpie on it.
Okay.
Call me, throw my card, and we stamp it urgent with a little rubber red stamp. And we get a great open rate, and sometimes we get calls from that, usually not. And then it's just follow-up calls. Hey, we haven't connected, or if we have, hey, we talked last week. I know you guys you really want to sell. I'm in your area this week. Would love to swing by for 10-15 minutes to the property and kind of to give you a brief overview of what I can do to help you guys. And with that, we've been pretty successful.
Yeah. I love the rubber stamp. I love the red rubber stamp. We actually used to do that. And you're right. The open rates go through the roof. I mean, and yes, is it clickbait in mail? Yes, it is. But you know what? They're going to throw your mail away anyways. Why not at least let them open it up? I mean, I get bamboozled by those like urgent, must open. It affects your credit. And I'm like, shit. Open it up. I'm like, you've been approved for $150,000 credit line. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. And so many agents just send like these little postcards, and people just chuck them. I walked into one apartment and the seller had like a stack like this, and was like, how many of these I've gotten since we came off the market? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, that'll happen.
Yeah.
But I know how to make those stop. So let's talk.
That's right. The very easy solution, sign on the dotted line. All right. So you've got the mailers to go out, and then you're calling, and then you're following up. And when you're calling, is there any specific thing that you're trying? Like, just basically is it just a touch point? Is there any specific excuse that you make up for calling? Anything like that?
Man, it's people smell BS from a mile away, man. It's all about coming with value and building a relationship. You know, to them, you're some stranger off the street. They don't know who the hell you are. Why should they give you any of their time? So build rapport, build a relationship up front. And if it leads to business, great. If not, if I can be of service to you at some point, if you need a handyman, a contractor, or just want to grab a beer, let's do it.
Yeah. So when it comes to the value, we're just talking about connections, right? So be a connector.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have any connections, where would someone start? Would it be just going out and just meeting the local businesses and just saying, like, my father always told me this, and again, in my infinite wisdom, I never listened to him. Again, I say that very sarcastically. He said, Greg, do you want to make a lot of money? I'm like, is the Pope Catholic? Yeah. And so he's like, go out and have a lunch, bring 3 other people from our database and you, and then have them connect and throw ideas back and forth with each other about, hey, what's your perfect client look like? And then you ask every single one of them, Shawn, how can I bring value to your business? What does your perfect client look like? What are your objectives this quarter, this year? How can I help fulfill that for you? I want to keep my eyes and ears open for you. Now, if I had listened to that advice, I would be in a different place in life, but I'm happy where I am. But it would be a different place. And I think that's what you're doing. You're out there solving problems and connecting people.
That's it.
Yeah. Damn, drop mic. Show over. Let's go.
Well, let's get into the lifestyle conversation a little bit. So you're doing some really good fundamental things on the lead generation side. You got your, kind of your meat and potatoes. You know exactly what you're doing. It's tried and true stuff. And then what's interesting there is you're not trying to build a team to take over the world. Like, this is not just one small step for you on the way to crushing the entire competition in the Pacific Northwest and building an office in around every corner. You're really focused on like having a sustainable, enjoyable lifestyle. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So tell me, maybe give me some insight. What does an average work day look like for you? And then we'll talk about maybe weekends and just the fun stuff. So average work day first, what's that look like?
So I'm up about 5. I hit the gym for an hour and a half, and come home, get ready for the day. I spend probably 9 to noon on the phones prospecting or, following up with the database and things like that. And then from there, it's appointments the rest of the day, or whatever else I want to do.
But Shawn, you're so successful. Why do you keep hitting the phones?
It's relationships, man. It's relationships, bro. Building those relationships.
No, I'm busting your nuts because a lot of people say that they don't need to make the calls anymore because they're so successful. No. So I'm trying to showcase you as someone who's down in the trenches, like, grinding it out, still doing the hard work to get the big cash, right?
Yeah, we've tried outsourcing it, man. I've tried a couple ISA services, 3 or 4 actually, and I don't get the same results. So I nixed that, and I enjoy it, to be honest. It's fun.
It is fun.
I didn't used to say that. I was someone who had huge call reluctance. I remember Katie Benson like coaching me through my first couple calls, like, hey, just make 1 call for the day. Mm-hmm. Just make 1. And what I've learned over the years is that first call you make is always the hardest. From there, it's just like, okay, well, and you just keep going.
That's true.
Yeah. My dad always laughed at me because when I first started door knocking, he's like, Greg, you want to know the trick about door knocking? And I said, well, shit, yeah, I do. He's like, the hardest door is your car door.
Yep.
And then everything from there is golden. And I'm like, damn, that's profound, but so simplistic. I mean, just get out of the damn car. It's like you, Shawn, just get on the damn phone, just make some freaking calls and, meet people. I did 49 minutes of beers and calls last night and got 3 solid prospects calling for rent by owners. Just going out there and just doing the calls. And Shawn, a lot of the times people, they want to do 5, 6, 10 deals a month, like you're running at right now. You don't stop. It's like a glass of water. If you turn off the spigot, the water is going to drop in the glass. Mm-hmm. And eventually it's going to get dry, right? Always, even if it's a drip, keep that motherfucker running so that you never run out of prospects.
And that's it. It's you know, we had that firsthand. You know, last year we took some time off, and then it's like, okay, well, you know, our fourth quarter is a little light, so guess what we're doing first? You know what I mean? So it's just, it's if you want the results, do the work. Like I think people have lost. You know, they're always looking for the next shiny silver bullet or thing to, you know, automate away, and it's like build relationships. That's not something you can hand off. And bring value.
Let's talk about building relationships. What's one of the best things you've done to stay in relationship with your past clients, your leads, and everything else? Do you have a silver bullet, or are you just doing, down the trenches, like, hey, bro, been thinking about you. How you doing?
Yeah. We try and write, 10, 15 calls, notes a week. We have all of our clients set up on market reports. Nice. We send out a bomb video every month. Hey, here's what the market's doing. If you have questions, give me a call. And we've got a database of over 6,000 people right now. We're just loving on them. And,
Dude, so one of the things that I've done for my database is I've gone out and before pre-COVID, it was much more lucrative to do this, easier to do, but you can still do this. I go out to Groupon and I look for any discounts that are being had by any local business. And I'll call the business up and say, hey, look, I see you have, 50% off your first massage, whatever, sure. Right? And I say, look, I don't, because Groupon will make you pay up front, and then they'll take up to 50% of your proceeds off of anyone who used your coupon code. Oh, wow. So the business just gets fucked. But I say, hey, look, I see you're gonna do 50% off your first massage. Can I offer this out to my database at zero cost to you? I don't want any of your back end. I just want to offer it out and support you as a local business to business. And 100% of the time they say yes. So that when you send out those letters, when you send out those emails, when you have that database and you have that coupon book that you can keep building up, your local businesses are going to be pumped with you. Your past clients and database are going to be pumped with you, and you're going to be able to get a testimonial from that local business, like, hey, this, Shawn Richardson over at ABC Real Estate, well, EXP, hooked us up and he gave us 15 new clients this month. We're so appreciative. Shawn's the man. Says nothing about real estate. Yeah. It speaks to the character of the man or the woman that is putting this together for their SOI and the local businesses. You want to talk about reciprocity?
Love that. I'm doing that tomorrow.
You're welcome.
Doing that tomorrow.
But expireds. Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Well, I'm curious because we glossed over a little bit because we got talking about the conversation about consistency in your lead generation, which is incredible, and that's a really great lesson. But you did mention you've got your schedule. The afternoon is basically for appointments. So where does the lifestyle component come in? Like, why you have a certain, we were talking about it before we went on air. You have a certain number of deals you're looking to stay at, right? Because it's like it balances. It's the perfect balance of like lifestyle and the number of hours that you work and all that stuff like that. So give people a kind of some insight into why you structured your business the way you do. What are you doing with your off hours that's that important that you're not looking to double next year like everybody else and their mom?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first and foremost, we're selective in who we work with. I think Ben Kinney was the one who said it, but I make way too much money to work with assholes. I have no problem firing clients. But for me, I love spending time in the woods. Like that is my church. That is my sanctuary. I spend a lot of time hunting in the fall and spring. So I structured my business so I can do those things that I love. Nice. And, we're looking at expanding a little bit. We're looking at building another city here in the near future because we eventually plan on relocating out of the Pacific Northwest. But we're going to build a team here to take over our Salem business and, grow that to whatever the degree whoever takes it over wishes. But at the same time, we're going to see what we can do to build out and have the same success in a new city with no database, no sphere. We really don't know anybody there. And work our model and see how fast we can build it up. And we're actually working on building a YouTube channel to kind of chronicle that. I think it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, going back to my experience when I first got, working with top agents and stuff like that. Anyway, one of the top video series at that time was just a realtor in Omaha who worked with new construction. And he just documented this one house over the course of several months of it being built. It was kind of from fall into winter, so you could see the house being built as the seasons were changing. He threw it up on YouTube. This is, back in 2000, 2000 to like 2010, 2011. So people weren't really going to YouTube looking for information on neighborhoods. That was not a thing yet. People didn't really know. They were going for completely different reasons, and it was wildly successful. Tens of thousands of views, like clients and prospects, and lots of attention. And it was really just very simple. It was very authentic. It was just him going out to a construction site, documenting the process of him helping build this house. And I think that there's a great opportunity, like whether it's moving, like you're authentically actually moving to Boise, even if you were already based there, if you could do the exact same thing, just talking to people that are moving in, profiling the neighborhoods and the pros and cons of different areas of Boise where they can move into. So the fact that you're doing it at the same time is great, but you could already be based there and still turn around and do basically the same thing in just a slightly different form. And it's basically the same content, but it answers a question that people are actually asking. Exactly. And that's what we've learned is really the key to YouTube when you're talking about getting inbound traffic on YouTube. It's answering a question people are actually typing in. If they're not typing it in, the odds are you're going to have to push traffic there from somebody else, from like some other platform somewhere else. But if you can create a video like that or a video series, I think it has a great shot.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll see. All right.
I love Sean's so mellow. He's like, yeah, man.
Exactly. We're going to do it.
We're just going to let it happen. Just like Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, man. All right. All right.
Oh my God. All right. You guys want to talk about scripting a little bit for expireds? I'd love to, if you want to do any role play. I know. Talk scripting to me. All right. So Shawn, what's your typical, and give us an idea of what your typical script is, or if there's anything different that you do that you feel like is you've had to make some modifications over the last year or so with the whole COVID situation. Have you changed your script at all?
No, it's really simple. Hey, we saw your home on 123 Main Street came off the market, whether it was, old expired years ago, or we saw it come off this week after, however many days on market.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys, what's going on? What you guys, are you guys still want to sell? And what's your next move?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it's, why did you guys have the home on the market in the first place? Where are you guys going? How soon do you want to be there? And then
let's role play it. You and me right now.
All right.
I'm homeowner. Dude, my fucking neighbors are batshit crazy. These motherfuckers just drop shit off their damn balcony all the time. It is hilarious. He just dropped a bag of garbage off his fucking balcony. People are
4 stories up? Really?
Yes.
What is going on with your condo development? You have some some odd characters living there. All right. So scenario, let's assume, Greg, this one is in Shawn's sweet spot. So let's say it's been on the market for 500. You probably should only be selling for 450. So Shawn, it's in your price. Once you start to get into the conversation, you're like, yeah, this is actually a listing I want to take. It's overpriced, typical stuff. And then Greg, you can throw in whatever horrible other traps you want to, because I know you're going to. All right, let's kick it off. Ring.
Hey, Greg, This is Shawn with eXp Realty here in Salem, Oregon. I saw your house on 123 Main Street came off the market last week. I was kind of calling you guys to see, do you guys still want to sell it?
Well, yeah, we want to sell it. Why?
Well, I specialize in homes that didn't sell. Was kind of curious as to where you guys were going next.
Was it to you where I'm going next?
Well, I'd love to see if we can connect you with an agent wherever you're moving to, or if we can help you with your next property. What was your guys' goal for your move?
My goal was to sell the home. I mean,
Sure.
But I mean, we just got tired of the politics up here, with with the city being shut down and all this other malarkey that happened in 2020. We're throwing our hands up in the air. We're calling quits. We're out of here. We're going to go somewhere else. My family is just, we can't take it anymore. So we want to get out of Dodge as fast as possible. My brother-in-law was our agent, and obviously he didn't do his job.
Sure.
So Thanksgiving's going to be awkward, but just want to get this thing sold, man. So, I mean,
Gotcha.
let's cut to the baseline here. Are you looking for my listing, or do you have a buyer?
Well, I'm looking for your listing, to be entirely honest. We specialize in helping sellers just like you who had a home on the market that didn't sell. We've achieved 100% success ratio over the past 8 years, and we've never had a home not sell that we've had on the market. Does that sound like it might be a good fit for you?
Depends. Are you going to try to price it at like $2? I mean, I'll buy it for $2. I mean, what's your strategy? And your name was what again?
My name's Shawn. I'm with eXp Realty. We're actually a husband-wife team here in Salem, Oregon. And like I said, we specialize in helping sellers like yourself who had a home on the market but couldn't get it sold. Whether it was pricing, marketing, in more cases than not, it's actually just marketing exposure. I'd love to kind of show you what we do and how we help our clients and how we've been so successful over the past 8 years. Got some time tomorrow at 8 o'clock or tomorrow at 4, which would work best for you.
So wait, what do you do different? Do you have like a unicorn that you have running around your backyard that's going to help the house sell faster? I mean, what are you going to do differently? Because look, man, I get a ton of calls. I don't want to waste your time or my time because I want to make sure that my wife's stressed out. She's about to lose her shit over this thing. So, I mean, tell me one thing I can tell her that you're going to do differently than her brother did to get this property sold, because I have to have some ammunition, and I need to have the trust in someone, because damn, I feel like I'm about ready to lose my damn brain.
Totally understand. And you're not alone. We hear this a lot. Like I said, we specialize in this marketplace and with situations like yours. And I know you guys want to get it sold. I know you guys want to get it out of Dodge. I'd love to show you what we do. Our presentation is 90% visual, but we specialize in marketing exposure. Our job is to expose your home to the most amount of buyers possible, so we can get you the most amount of offers possible. Let us set a time tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Does that work for you guys?
I don't know. Let me check. Stacy. Yeah, it's an agent. Yeah, I know. 4? Okay, she gave me the head down. We can do 4.
Great. I'll see you then.
All right.
Oh my God, Stacy! Mom! Meatloaf! All right. So let's break that down a little bit. This is classic fundamental stuff.
Yeah.
And this is scripting that anybody can learn. Now there's a couple things that you did that I think, in my opinion, make that scripting work, where if you don't have it, you can say the exact same script and actually lose this call, which is, we specialize. Most people won't say that. That's something I like when I helped Aaron Wittenstein build the Expired Mastery course. That's one thing about his script. He never fails to get to stuff that in there. I specialize in selling homes that didn't sell with other agents. This is what I do. This is my specialty. Most people won't go out on a limb and say that. A lot of them don't have the track record to back it up either, but that's another story. The second thing is the 100% success rate. I want to come back to that in a second. And then you also talk about 8 years in the market, husband-wife team. You give some details. You make yourself a little bit human.
Yeah.
That totally helps. Like, the perception is that you're just, like you're calling from a Glengarry, Glen Ross, kind of boiler room, just a young single guy, like that. So like a husband and wife team, we've been in business for a long time. That really does kind of humanize you a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to come back to the 100% success rate. That was awesome. And it could be complete bullshit. I was going to say, like, it would be even better if it's actually true.
Yeah, it's actually true. We have never taken an expired listing and put it back in the market and have it not sell. And in most cases, for more money than we had it listed in the first place. You wouldn't believe how many freaking agents still take cell phone photos of $800,000 homes. It's atrocious, and I think they should be shot in the face twice.
Yes,
that's another topic for another day. But again, it's pricing, it's exposure, and it's getting the property on the marketplace, man. I've been
binging on The Good Place lately, and they talk a lot about penis flattening. That sounds like a really good punishment for that. Just a good.
I like it. I like it.
It
sounds horrible, but I like it.
It does sound horrible, but yeah. Cell phone pictures of $800,000 listings. All right. Yeah. Yes. People should be summarily dismissed from the human race for an egregious mistake like that. Okay. So what was interesting was, when Greg pressed you on something specific, that was interesting. So you did a bit of an evasion and a redirect, and you end up getting the appointment out of it. Is there a reason you wouldn't give something specific?
What do you want me to? I mean, no, not really. It's just, we for us, our presentation is more about the seller than it is us. Hey, where do you guys want to go? We can get you there.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is
that there are things that you can say
Sure.
in that will just directly answer the question. I'll give you an example. Dan Beer here in San Diego, where it's insanely competitive over expireds. So what he has is like what he calls like the 4-day blitz. So they have a specific system where they list homes, they go public. I think it's like at an open house and a specific time window on a specific weekend day. Leading up to that, they do X number of circle prospecting calls, X number of postcards, a geo-fenced Facebook ad. Like they freaking blanket that neighborhood about the fact that that home is coming, and they funnel all the buyers in through one particular window in a showing in like a 45-minute time. So people are actually showing up while people are there or while people are leaving, whatever the case is. It's not open just for whenever their buyer's agents want to schedule it. Anyway, point being, that goes over really well. Like, so if you have a system like that, if there's a particular nugget part of your system where you can whip out and go, bam, this is what I do differently. And this is why we sell more expired homes than anybody else in my space. And if you're brand new, by the way, you can work that out. Like you just basically just break it down to numbers. Most people don't know what circle prospecting a couple hundred homes really is, which is just a couple hours with your butt in the seat. You know, but it sounds impressive. If you can whip out something like that, it's basically you're gonna crush any other agent, because no agent ever gives anybody any specifics. They do the same thing, which is they try to get in for the appointment. If you really do something that is different and gets their attention, I think you might actually find that success goes up, as long as you don't accidentally say something that they don't care about.
Sure.
Well, one of the things that I've done, and this, Shawn, I'm not a lot of people do this. So, I mean, this is just something I've started lately. When someone presses me, because I get pressed a lot, I mean, and I'll talk about the trucking side about, hey, I'll move you anywhere in the 48, in the lower 48 for free. Cool. It's going to be my cost. I just picked up a condo listing and probably another $4 million listing I'm meeting with next week on just saying that. But I also tell them, you know what? What are you going to do different? Well, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a business Facebook page for you. I'm going to fill, it's like a living business card, and I'm going to put all my photos and video in there. I'm going to do live video. I'm going to put information about the community that you'll be buying in, the home that lives in. I'm going to interview you, if you would let me, to talk about your favorite memories of the property. Kind of give me some, the high up, best memories. I'm going to do live videos talking about it. I'm going to document everything that I can, and then we're going to push it out into a geographical area about 100 miles radius, and we're going to just drop it on for about $5 to $10 a day. We're going to let people to come to us, and then we're going to get this property sold for you at the highest possible price. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Wait, you can do that? Yes, ma'am. 100% we can. And by the way, here are a couple of my past, Facebook, business pages I've created for other listings. And this is the interaction rate, and this is what we sold it for in this time frame. So, if that's something that you'd like, let's sit down and talk. If not, then I wish you the best of the rest of your day. Then, so I take it away from them right at the very end. I do. And dude, I listed a $1.8 million listing doing that exact script. It's incredibly simplistic, but yet nobody's doing it at all. In the trucking side, do you know there's a 70% markup on trucking and moving?
Oh my God. Out of Portland, it has to be insane.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Dude.
What did somebody say? Was it somebody on our show, Greg, that said it's like is it 7 times the normal rate to go like from a U-Haul from LA to Phoenix or something like that? It's 700% markup.
Yeah, and then you have to go to the other location and get the vehicle because there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper to fly to Arizona, rent a truck there, drive it to California, and take it back. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about a little bit more on the lifestyle side. So you're doing basically this system that you have worked out. The reason why you do it this way, you said it works out to about 4 to 5 deals a month. You've got your TC in place. So how many hours a week would you say that you actually work in the business?
We're probably 35, 30 hours when I'm fully present. Because for me, I'm trying to pack as much time into getting those deals done as I can, so I can spend the time off. But we're still working weekends. But
so you're not concerned with like minimizing your average week. No. You work, take some time off, and then work back to, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So you're more of the person that wants to go out. You want long chunks of time where you can kind of completely disconnect from the business, and then you come back and dive back in.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Last year I took 3 weeks off. I spent all that time back in the middle of the Eagle Cap wilderness, no cell phone service, and God, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Are you an extrovert or introvert?
A little bit of both. I love people, but I definitely enjoy my quiet time as well. And unplugging from the craziness of the world, I think more people should do it more often. I don't think people realize how much time they spend on social media and the news and just negative messaging over and over and over again. And so anytime we can unplug and get away from that, man, it's worth it. It's paradise. Yeah.
The reason I ask is that, Greg, that sounds a lot like your approach, which I can't relate to at all. Right. What? So you're very much like you'll work 12-hour days in order to take a week off. And when you take that week off, you want to completely unplug. I can't completely unplug, have no interest in completely unplugging. I like what I do, but I want to work 3 to 4 hours a day every day, like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I never actually really take time off because I just have my week structured to where I don't burn out. So it's just a different approach. I'm more on the introverted side. Greg's a massive extrovert. So I was just curious. I think that kind of all in and all out thing tends to be more extroverts doing that than introverts. That would be my observation, but I'd love to hear from the audience if you feel differently. So feel free to comment because we're live on Facebook. But
so Matt, you're microdosing. I'm going to the rave and just going balls deep.
Well, that is a very apt description of everything you and I do. I do everything systematically and in moderation, and you do nothing in moderation. Everything is an extreme. Yes, that is 100% true.
So true.
Okay. So Shawn, you mentioned that you like people. You're kind of a mix of both introvert, extrovert. If you jump in the car and you go on a road trip, right? Let's say you're going from Salem to Boise, right? Because you're moving to Boise. You're driving there. Are you reaching for the phone to call people to help you pass the time? Or are you cranking the music and get lost in your own thoughts?
Man, I'm plugging.
Shawn, I gotta stop you. Matt, you really fucked up right there. Okay. Look. He's not cranking the music. He's not calling people. He's listening to Real Estate Uncensored on just nonstop. Okay.
Sure.
This is an intelligent man. Okay. Good God. Don't insult this
So
man.
besides when you're not mainlining our podcast in through an IV drip, Shawn, if you jump in the car, which do? You pick up the phone and call someone, or do you just kind of, would you prefer to be alone and kind of get lost and recover in your thoughts?
See, I plug in an audiobook and go, man. That's kind of my jam. I don't have to worry about switching freaking songs or anything like that. And worry about stations and all that shit. I just plug an audiobook and I go. Yeah. So like a lot of if you're a more extreme extrovert like Greg is, Greg will reach for the phone. And that's one of the ways that you know whether you're not an extreme, but just if you're on the further you are on the extroverted side of things, that's one of those little tells. Like Greg is one of those guys that if we're doing a meeting or a phone call, like he wants to take that while he's on the go. And if he's walking, he wants to pick up the phone and call somebody and help pass the time with conversation. You cannot, Greg does not want to hang out and be alone with his thoughts. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
I totally do that.
You totally do that, which is, you went through a whole phase for like a year and a half where every single call we ever did, you were walking, and it was super annoying. But anyway, that people, if you've been following the show for a long time, you'll know that I was giving Greg a hard time about that for a long time because you've really irritated me with that. But it is interesting, Shawn. It's good to know that about yourself. Like when you've got a really good mix where you're all in and you spend a lot of time with people, right? Mm-hmm. 3 hours is a lot of time to talk on the phone, especially if you're on the introverted side. So you've got enough of the blend of both where that doesn't bother you. You've built a life on being on the phone for 3 hours a day. Great. But then you do need your time. I think a lot of extroverts are like this, where, you can go, and you get energized by talking to people until you need to take time off. And you want to completely unplug from people and just go off and be in the woods or something like that. So it's good to know about yourself, and it's cool that you've built an entire business that allows you to do that, because most people just flat out burn out and then they don't have enough business to where they can take the time off to recharge.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, Shawn, I think is the most important about what you're doing to recharge. And Matt, this is to your point about microdosing your work. is my dad. He worked so hard and so long. He had his retinas detached from his eyes.
Oh,
He was
shit.
bleeding from his eyes. It happened in Canada the second time, and thank God, there's only 2 people in all of Canada that can do that surgery. Thank God, one of them was in the city that he was in, so they could get the surgery done and then rest for a couple of days and then fly home, because he couldn't even fly because it would even detach more and he'd go blind.
Goodness.
And so that's what stress does to you. In all seriousness, it will wear you down like water wears down a rock, and to the point where there's no more rock, there's just sand.
Yeah.
Right. So it is important to get out in the woods. Matt, go to your coffee shop, go sit by the beach, do whatever makes you happy. Go to your happy place, because when you're fully charged, then you can help your clients at a full level. That's why on airplanes, they don't tell you put your mask on first. No, they say, well, they don't say put someone else's mask on first.
That has massively changed, but we get the point.
Hello,
Yes,
dyslexia.
Put the mask on the seat of the person next to you. Yes.
Yeah, next to you. Well, first cover yourself and then help someone else. And the reason why is that, you have to be at your full level. If you're not at your full level, then, just take time. Guess what, guys? I get more work done. I know this might drive Matt nuts, but really don't give a shit. When I'm out walking, or I'm down at the pool, or if I'm out doing something, not sitting in my office, I get more calls and I put more people together out and about doing something. So take yourself a little less serious. Be professional. Don't get me wrong, but take yourself a little less serious. And just do something that you want to do. I've made the rule for myself this year that I'm doing one thing positive in my business every single day. One thing. The rest of the day is mine. I can do whatever I want. Usually I end up working all day, but I allow myself the opportunity. Like Matt and I were talking off air about how, like, this last week, both of our backs have been hurting like nobody's business. So the other day I took a half a day or 3/4 of a day, and I just went and laid in my bed and I did work from my bed because my back was killing me. I didn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Freaking leg day, and couldn't walk up the stairs anymore. So you take the day off and you work from bed. And I think that's one of the things we're super blessed with in this industry. Give me a laptop and a phone, I can work anywhere.
Anywhere.
And you want to see an uptick in your business? Go on vacation. Go on a trip. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Schedule a vacation every single month for a week. And you will see business come out of the woodwork like you've never seen. And if you think I'm kidding, try it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And how effective you will be the day before you're leaving to get all the shit done you need to get done. You will be like Superman working at 1,000 miles an hour. And you're like, damn, I should do this every day. And you're like, whew, that's exhausting.
Correct. That's how I live my life.
I know it is, Matt. That's why I told you.
Yeah. All right. So let's start wrapping up. So first of all, we want to get in a quick call to action for you, Shawn. So tell people again where you're at and how they can look you up for referrals.
Yeah. So I'm in Salem, Oregon. We service the majority of the Salem Willamette Valley here. If you have got questions about the market, have someone moving into the Salem or out of Salem, give us a call. We'd love to help. My phone number is 503-853-1784. You can also shoot me an email at Shawn, SHAWN, @edgepropertygroup.com.
Sweet.
Bang.
All right. Greg,
Matt.
how do people connect with you, and why in the world would they want to do a crazy thing like that?
Because I'm a lovable human being who actually cares, has a big beating heart, unlike someone I know that has a black coal piece of heart. But I'm not going to name them on air, Matt Johnson.
No, of course not. That would be beneath you.
So far beneath me, it'd be unbelievably not reachable. Guys, we are with EXP. We are recruiting for our team. We are looking to build the most profitable team across the country and around the world. If you want to learn how we're doing it, there happens to deal with this little company over here and some amazing stuff that we're doing with trucking and how we're going to put money in your pockets, guys. So my number is 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. Call me. Let's do a free coaching call. Or if you're interested about EXP or anything like that, feel free and give me a jingle. Now, Matt, I have heard an evil rumor. Did you create a pamphlet called Micro Famous?
Yes, I wrote a pamphlet. If you want to get a copy of the book, you can get the digital copy for free at getmicrofamous.com. You can also learn more about what I'm up to there. We produce podcasts for coaches, consultants, emerging thought leaders. So if you enjoy podcasts like Team Building Podcast with Jeff Cohn, Club Wealth's podcast, Lars Hedberg's podcast, we've launched all of those. So if you're an expert in the space, especially in real estate, and you want to launch a podcast, reach out. Just shoot me a message. I'm here on Facebook, or you can go to getmicrofamous.com and get the links to our production service from there. And then grab the book on Amazon.
So I got to tell you guys, I always pick on Matt, but it is actually a phenomenal book. It really is a phenomenal book. He hasn't.
Greg wouldn't know because he's never read it. He's waiting for the audio version. But I filled him in. I filled him in on the key points.
Oh wait, what happened? Shawn, what? Oh shit!
Oh, no,
Matt just left the room. Oh, Matt. Oh,
oh, thank you, Greg. All right, so we've got one last comment I wanted to bring up. This is from early on. This is while we were talking about kind of the structure of Shawn's business and the scripting and stuff. Rob St. John commented, "Getting back to basic calling. No shiny object shit. 2 new listings, one sold in 8 hours, and the other about to sell inside of a week with 3 more coming." So first of all, Rob, congrats to you, man, fellow EXPer, and just crushing it. And I love the bit about the no shiny object stuff. Agents are afflicted with it as much as anyone. I see it all the time in the coaching consulting space too. So if you think it's only agents, it is not. Everyone has shiny object syndrome in every space. It's all over the place. And I love, Shawn, that you've really built your business by focusing obsessively on getting good at one thing, and which is what gives you the ability to say something like, we have 100% success rate. If you were dilly-dallying around with a whole bunch of other different stuff, you wouldn't get to the point where you're good enough to even make that claim. And that's one of the things that keeps the gravy train rolling. So I love that level of focus. I think it's a good example for anyone that wants to build a lifestyle business. You can get into everything, but one of my favorite authors called that the puppy approach. Get into everything. All right, Greg, should we wrap a bow around this episode?
We do, Matt, and you need to do your duties as a co-host.
I'm aware. I haven't absconded. I'm not spotulating.
Okay. So many thesaurus words. Oh my God.
Let's go with a nice peach-shaped bow. We're gonna wrap around this episode. Tie it up, wrap it up like a present. There you go. Peach. Maybe it was subliminal.
Maybe it was. I got 2 peach bubbly waters over here. All right, guys, there's our show. Thank you so much for watching. I want you guys to go out and give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review on every single place you guys listen to your podcast. I want you to mention Shawn Richardson in your comments if you like the value add bombs that he dropped on us today. We love you, appreciate you. We cannot do the show without you guys. So thank you more than you can ever imagine. I love you. Matt pseudo likes you. Shawn adores you. But until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.